Hello everyone, welcome back to Starless Reads. My name is Leia and I'm so happy you chose to spend some time with me today. I have finally won the battle against my cold. It might still sound like I'm a bit sick in my nose and throat area, but don't worry, I'm getting better, I'm getting stronger, I feel reborn, and I feel ready to film a reading vlog, which I'm so excited about because outside right now it's fall. Fall is upon us. The leaves are turning, the air is crisp. There was a lot of rain this week. Like, it's the perfect fall reading mood. I'm so happy. I love fall so much. I'm going to take you along with me this week as I read some atmospheric fall reads. I want to read all the books. So I have like a pretty extensive TBR of things I want to read this fall. But let's just talk about the options for this week. Here I have my two physical options. The first one is One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. I actually started reading this book in another vlog. It was my readathon vlog, but I only read maybe 20 pages of this. And if I do choose to pick this one up, I'm going to start again from the beginning because I don't remember anything much about this book. But this is like a dark gothic fantasy, but it's still YA, I believe, so it's not too dark. And in this world, the magic system, I believe, is based on tarot cards type, so you have to like have a card to be able to do magic. And I think tarot cards are really fun, especially like fall stuff. There are actually cards design in the book, so yes. And then our main character, I believe, has a voice inside her head, like a monster inside her head, so that's also kind of creepy, and that's all I know about this. And also, I recently purchased A Treachery of Swans by A.B. Poranek. This book is so gorgeous. I freaking love this. So I believe that this is a Swan Lake retelling. This is about this woman named Odile, and she is raised by her vengeful sorcerer of a father to infiltrate the kingdom and steal the crown, I believe. And there's a sapphic relationship between these two women. I believe she is a princess and she is the daughter of the vengeful sorcerer. I love this so much. It sounds incredible. Why, yes, look at this gorgeous map. I wish it was bigger. So there's the Lac des Cygnes, Théâtre du Roi. Can you see? Focus on this. It's really cute. It's really beautiful. And obviously, I know what I'm going to be listening to while reading this. Those are my two maybes for physical reads. And then on audiobook, I'm thinking of listening to Hungerstone by Kat Dunn, which is a lesbian vampire set in the 1800s England, I believe. And yeah, it just follows this woman who I'm not sure. I know it's sapphic. I know it's vampires. I don't know much more about Hungerstone, but yes, it's on my radar for listening because I'm definitely gonna need something to listen to. Today I have some chores to do. I have to do laundry and maybe groceries. We'll see. We'll see what I want to do. I also want to go outside, maybe take a walk or something. So the audiobook's going to come in handy today. So yeah, let's just get to reading. I'm excited. Okay, time for a reading update. As you probably saw in my clips, I was with my dog yesterday, which means I went to my parents' house. So I couldn't really talk to you guys and update you guys, but I did go see my dog and my family, and I took a walk, and it was wonderful. The weather was scrumptious, and yeah, I did a lot of reading. So I'm here to update on everything I read yesterday and then talk about my plans for today. So yesterday I got 45% of the way through Hungerstone by Kat Dunn, which was the audiobook I picked up. And it's really, really good. So I'm almost halfway through, and it's definitely a very slow gothic story, and I really enjoy the way that the story is taking its time. So we follow this woman named Lenore in the 1880s, I believe, and she is a woman of 30 years old. She is married, but she doesn't have any children, and her job is basically to be lady of the house. Her husband recently purchased this old manor, and she is in charge of like renovating it, and also she has to manage the guests that come to stay at the house and everything. So she has a lot on her plate, and right now her husband is being an absolute asshole. He is asking so much of her and then not appreciating her at all, and also diminishing her every time she raises a concern or just a human emotion. He fucking grinds my gears. We don't like the husband. We don't like him. He's very annoying, but something creepy happens. Obviously, that cannot be the whole story. So as they are making their way through to the new house in their carriage, they get into an accident with another carriage, and in that other carriage is a young woman named Carmilla, and Carmilla is traveling alone, and she gets injured in the carriage accident, and so they invite Carmilla to stay at their house until she gets better. Carmilla is very enigmatic. She does not really say much about where she's from or what her background is. She basically only says her name. And she's quite intriguing. She is, in her ideology, she is not really of the times. She's quite queer in both the weird way and also the gay way. And so Lenore slowly but surely starts to be friends with Carmilla, and Carmilla opens up her eyes to thinking about what Lenore wants, what she desires, and not what her husband asks of her all the time. And that causes troubles in the house. Basically, Carmilla comes and shakes things up. And also, Lenore has started to have strange dreams where she sees Carmilla, and maybe Carmilla is biting her neck. Weird. So obviously, this book is a Carmilla retelling. That didn't take me long to realize it. And I love Carmilla. It's such a great classic. If you haven't read Carmilla, I really recommend it, especially if you're like interested in vampires, but the absolute chunk, the absolute length of Dracula scares you, which I can understand. Carmilla is so short. It's so good. And it's so sapphic. And I love it. But so Hungerstone is like even more sapphic, and also has a lot more of like man hating going on. This husband of hers is absolutely horrible. So yeah, I've been listening to that. Yesterday I had to do chores and stuff, so it was the perfect audiobook to keep my mind occupied while I did the laundry and everything. So I did read a lot of that yesterday. And then I also picked up One Dark Window by Rachel Gillick, and I got to page 114. So chapter 11 is where I stopped last night. This book is so fun. It's so fun. Okay, so I don't know if this is categorized as a YA fantasy, but to me it feels really YA. Even though the main character is 20, I believe, it feels like the books I read as a teenager, in the best way possible. I'm not saying by any means that this is a perfect book, okay? Some of the lines are quite cringy. There are some like poems, rhymes, lines going on, and those are quite cringy. I still like it a lot. It's kind of camp, honestly, in a way. So this is extremely gothic and like atmospheric and autumnal in vibes. It's the perfect book, the perfect fantasy book for this season. We follow Elspeth, who is 20 years old, and in this world, there are two ways to do magic. You can either do magic by having a Providence card. So there is a deck of cards, and they are magical cards, and when you touch the cards, they each do something different, and they allow you to use their powers. So the Providence cards are like very coveted because obviously there is only a limited amount of them, and they are also the only legal way to do magic. The other way to do magic is that there is this like magical mist going on, and it's a bad kind of mist. And usually when children go in the mist, they can catch an illness, and if they catch that illness, they usually come back from it with magical powers, and that is dangerous for some reason. I'm not exactly sure why, and for that reason the kingdom, the government kills the children that got the illness. So we follow Elspeth, and she got sick. She got the illness as a child, but she didn't get any magic, or did she? So she doesn't show any signs of having the magic. So basically her whole family thought, okay, she just got sick, but no magic to be seen, so she's in the clear. But as a young child, after she got sick, she touches a Providence card, and she touches the Nightmare card. This card usually allows the toucher of the card and the user of the card to read people's minds and speak in their minds. So as a child, she sees that card at her uncle's house, and she touches it because she's a child. And right then and there, she gets basically possessed by the card. I'm not quite sure exactly how it works, but she basically now has the nightmare living in her mind. Okay, she has this voice in her mind, the nightmare of the card, constantly in the back of her brain. And having the nightmare in her brain also allows her to use some of the power of the nightmare, so allows her to give her strength and stuff like that. So she has like this monster living in her head, but nobody knows. Everybody thinks that she doesn't have any magic, and she basically lives her whole life like that until she gets to be 20 years old. And now it's the equinox ball. It's a fall equinox. And they go to a ball at the king's palace, and it's very gothic, very, very scrumptious. It's so good. It's so good. It reads really, really fast. The font is huge in this book, and yes, so I'm going to keep reading this. I'm so far really enjoying this. I think this is going to turn into a quest for people to try to find every single Providence card, because basically the mist is a curse on this kingdom, and once they gather all of the cards together once again, I think they can stop the mist, I'm pretty sure. So the kingdom is trying to find a way to gather all the cards, and I think Elspeth is going to be involved in some way. So if this does turn into like a quest adventure type of thing in this like creepy kingdom, I am going to lose my mind because that sounds so fun. I want to keep reading. Today is once again supposed to be a very nice autumn day, and I think my sister is maybe thinking of doing some sort of nature outing activity today, and so I told her I would join her if she does choose to do that. So we'll see. Maybe I'm going to do that later today, but other than that, I'm mostly planning on reading. So I'm going to read some of this, but if I feel later like doing some arts and crafts, I may also pick up Hungerstone. I'm just really excited about both the books I chose to pick up. So, yes. Okay, not to be an asshole, but I just read something that made me kind of giggle. So, the main character was kind of like arguing and stuff, and the voice in her head said, what's the old adage, my dear? Something about ladies and protesting far too much. And that's referencing Shakespeare, the lady doth protest too much, something like that. I'm not sure of the exact Shakespeare quote, but I know it's a reference to Shakespeare. And why would they have a Shakespeare reference in this fantasy world? That's my question. Not to be pretentious, but why is Shakespeare in this world? Hi guys, good evening. I had such a nice autumnal day today, and I went on like some nature activities with my sister, and I picked up some pumpkins at the pumpkin patch, and I want to do a pumpkin haul. My girlfriend is judging me right now, but this is so fun. So first I got a chunky one. This is like a basic pumpkin. You think of a pumpkin, you think of this. It's beautiful, gorgeous. Look at her. There's one side that's a little bit less gorgeous, but we just turn it around. And then I also got 3 small, tiny, decorative pumpkins, and I love them so much. They are just tiny little pumpkins. Look how small this is. My hands are not big, and they fit in my hands. They are really cute and tiny. And I know you can't really do anything with pumpkins like these, but I wanted them. I wanted them, so I got them. They were too cute to pass on. Look at her. She's gorgeous. Okay, I also have a reading update because this is a reading channel and not a pumpkin channel. I got to page 144, so I'm right before we get to part 2 in the book, and I didn't really have the time to read much, but I'm planning on reading a little bit more tonight. We'll see how much I actually am able to read before bed. But we have had some developments in both the plot and the romantic relationship going on, I think. So plot-wise, they basically they did what I wanted them to do, which is they are planning on looking for every card in the deck, and our main character has agreed to play a part in the search for the last few cards in the deck. So that's exciting. And then to kind of hide her implication in this scheme, this plan they have going on, she has to pretend to be courting with this guy from the guard at the palace. So that's where the relationship aspect comes in. So far, the relationship is not too annoying. I hope it remains this way. It's a bit cringy at times, but not too much, honestly. I'm still here for like the dark vibes, the magic. I'm here for the fast-paced plot. It's just a fun time. It's nothing too deep, and yeah, I'm enjoying this so far. So yeah, I'm going to read more of this tonight, and I'll let you know when I have more thoughts. See ya. Hello, good morning. It is Tuesday morning. I made a coffee and I have my book. I got to page 260 in the One Dark Window last night, so I have about 130 pages left of this to read. I am going to settle down this morning and try to finish this. I want to know how this book ends, what happens. I still feel like the action is not yet really picking up, and we're really nearing the end. So I'm kind of curious what is going to happen, what's going to be revealed. We just got a pretty big reveal, I will say that. It was pretty obvious, but it was a reveal to the main character either way. So I'm excited. We're starting to get more information and such, but I want more to happen. So I'm going to settle down, my coffee, my book, and finish this, hopefully. I had to put my reading on pause because I got a very important call. I got some last minute news, but it's very nice last minute news. I am starting my course tomorrow. So yeah, I'm going back to school tomorrow, and I just now learned that. So it's very last minute. I'm kind of on edge, kind of stressed. So the last hour, I was just like making calls, calling at work, calling the school, everything, just making sure it's settled. And then I was like on my computer, I was just on my laptop making sure I have everything I need for school tomorrow. It's kind of insane. Like I don't realize it that I start tomorrow because it feels unreal. But yeah, I start tomorrow. So the last hour was kind of me frantically being like happy that I could, like, because I was on a wait list and I didn't know if I was going to start tomorrow or not. I was honestly losing hope because I thought, oh, if I haven't heard any news by now, I'm probably not going to start. Guess what? I'm starting. So yeah, really excited, but kind of stressed. So I put a pause on my reading, but now I'm just truly going to sit down and finish the book. I'm on page 328, and earlier I said I wish the pace of the plot would like quicken, and it did. It really did. I'm happy with the plot, with the pace of the plot. Things are happening, and it's nice. There was also a sex scene, which nothing against sex scenes in books. It just really took me by surprise because this book feels so young to me. It feels written very young. It feels YA to me. And then there was a sex scene and it was like, oh, okay. Like it's, I don't know. I feel like maybe this book is like, I think I'm the problem in this and it's not the book, but the writing feels very YA to me. So I just assumed it would be like non-sexual because it feels YA, but it's not, and the main characters are not like teenagers. So I feel like this book is like new adult. Um, New adult as a category doesn't really exist in publishing. It kind of died in publishing, but I really feel like it should be a category. So this is a new adult book. It feels young and youthful in its writing and its themes, but there is some sexual on-page content. It's nothing like super raunchy, but yeah, there is one sex scene. So if you don't like reading smut at all, just letting y'all know. But honestly, it's really tame as a sex scene. It's no Fourth Wing, if you know what I mean. So yeah. Yeah, on page 328, I have 70 pages left of this read. I'm going to put on a little atmospheric playlist on my laptop and finally finish this book and maybe calm myself down a bit because I'm feeling frantic. Like, what's going on? Happy to report I have finished One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. And I am very satisfied with the way that these last couple of pages went. I liked the ending, and I think just based on the ending, I think I'm going to prefer the second book into duology. So I'm obviously not going to talk too much about what happens in the end because that's spoilery, but just what happens is really cool in my opinion. And I cannot wait to see what happens in the second book. I do own the second book already, so I'm planning on reading the second book, Two Twisted Crowns, pretty soon. Maybe not right away, but I definitely am planning on reading it for a spooky season. So yes, exciting. So now I'm done with this book and I might pick up something else. I'm not sure yet. Hello, it is now later, the same day, just later, and I started A Treachery of Swans, and I made it to page 40 in this book. So I'm now more knowledgeable about what this book is about. YA fantasy Swan Lake retelling. So it's heavily inspired by the ballets of Swan Lake, but it is sapphic, I believe. So our main character is Odile. So she is basically the black swan in our story. Yeah, basically Odile's father turns Marie Dodette into a swan so that she can impersonate her at court, marry the prince, and steal the royal crown for her father so that he can reinstall magic. But obviously, I don't think the plan is going to go like they want it to go. I think things are not as they seem. I think, like, obviously, Adi's father is meant to be the evil sorcerer in the story, but I'm not sure he's actually the evil one in the story because there's some bad things going on with the king as well and the whole royal family. There's some fucked up shit like why is magic gone, whose fault it was, and everything. So yes, so far I am liking the writing. I think it's very beautiful. And then also because like the world is kind of dying, the kingdom is losing its magic.
it's all very decaying, and I love that kind of atmosphere. It feels autumnal since everything is dying. It feels very autumnal in spirit. What I'm excited to see in this is how the romantic plot develops, because I was sold this book as containing a romantic plot between the two women, like the one that gets turned into a swan and the one that impersonates her. But I'm kind of curious, like, how is the author going to manage that if one of the women is a swan? That's going to be pretty tough to manage, I guess. Unless she's only turned into a swan by day, and by night she gets back into herself, like in the actual Swan Lake ballet. And if that's the case, that would be kind of cool. But now it's getting late, so I think I'm going to listen to Hungerstone while I make dinner and clean up shit and prepare stuff for tomorrow. So yeah, that was my update for now. I talked so long. Oh my god. Hello, we haven't spoken in a while. I don't think I've spoken to this video since Tuesday, and it's now Friday night, and I have so many updates. So I've been really busy and too busy to update the vlog, but not too busy to read. So I've made a lot of progress in a lot of different books, and I want to talk about them and also wrap up the vlog because it's been a week now. So just now I finished listening to Hungerstone by Kat Dunn. So I've been just listening to the audiobook all throughout the week, and yeah, I finished it just now. It was incredible. The ending was really good. Everything I could have hoped for from this kind of book, this kind of ending in this book. I don't want to say too much to not spoil, but I think the author did a very good job of exploring themes of female desire and hunger through the vampire, and in this very specific time period where like women were, just society in general, were constricted to such tight roles that no one could really get out of. So I think using this time period was really a good flash on the author's point. And yeah, so hunger, desire, what women are allowed to feel and not feel. I really liked it. I really loved the whole character development of the main character, Lenore. She goes from being this woman who's so dead inside. She has repressed any and all emotion. And then she meets Carmilla, and we see her, like, it's kind of a rebirth for her. She just gets to be human again. Funnily enough, she gets reborn, but you know, as a vampire this time. And the book never really talks about like vampirism or like what exactly is, like, they never say vampire, they never say it, but it's obviously that. So I thought it was interesting, instead of focusing on like the mythical monster aspect of it, just really focusing on the personal, how it felt to Lenore, how it felt to Carmilla, and the dynamics it played in their lives. I thought it was really well done, and I cannot wait to read something more from this author. I know they've written more, so I'm definitely going to check out something from them soon, because I really enjoyed this book. And if I do find a copy of this book that's not too expensive, I would love to own this book as well, because it was really good. So yay! And then I think last Tuesday I was updating you on A Treachery of Swans, and I have not read any more of this book since what I read on Tuesday. So the couple of pages I read on Tuesday, I haven't read any more of that since then, because honestly, I was not feeling super interested because my attention was elsewhere. I wanted to read Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillig, which is the second book in the duology I started earlier this week. So earlier this week, I read One Dark Window, and then I felt the urge to just pick this up. So I did, and I've been like very slowly reading a couple pages here and there. It's on Kindle Unlimited, so I just read on my phone on my lunch breaks and such. But I made it to page 80, so that's chapter 12. And this book is so much fun. So this book is obviously the second book in a series, so I can't really say much. I'm gonna remain very vague, but we get more different point of views. So the first book is only from the point of view of Elspeth, but this book follows multiple point of views, and the conflict is just so much more present. I am enjoying this so much. It's like the perfect book for me right now because I want to read something fantasy. I want to read something atmospheric, but I don't want something too complicated. And this is not too complicated. It's just not too many characters, not too hard to follow. It's straightforward. I like it, and it's fun. It's honestly fun. Well, yeah, it's fun. It feels YA. I think I said that about the first book as well, but it's kind of giving me the same feelings as when I was in high school reading Six of Crows or something like that. Like, it's fun, you know? So I'm really enjoying this one, and I'm hoping to read more of it this weekend. But for now, I think I'm gonna close this video off right now. I hope you had fun watching me read for a week. I definitely read a lot this week, even though it ended up being much busier than what I thought it would be because I actually started classes. I am going to leave you guys off here. If you like this video, I do a lot of reading vlogs, so I recommend you check out my other videos. And yeah, I will see you soon in a new video. Bye.